Welcome to our deep dive into The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis.
Oh, this is a good one.
It really is.
It takes us back and forth through time.
It does.
Between glamorous 1970s New York and ancient Egypt.
Yeah, so it really is a journey through time.
Right, and it weaves this mystery.
Yes.
That involves stolen artifacts.
Yes.
Family secrets.
Oh, yeah.
And a really strong connection to ancient Egypt that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine unearthing a long-lost Egyptian queen.
Right.
Not just like reading about her, in history books or something, but like physically discovering her mummy after decades of mystery.
Wow.
And that's exactly what happens to our protagonist, Charlotte Croft.
Oh, she's great.
And she's on this winding path to that discovery.
It's a wild ride.
It really is.
So the novel unfolds on two timelines.
Right.
Which I thought was really neat.
Yeah, it adds a lot of depth to the story.
Yeah, and it's like you're solving a puzzle as you go.
Yeah, so we first meet Charlotte in 1978. She's an associate curator at the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Fancy, I know. The Met.
And everyone there is so excited about the King Tut exhibit that's going to be coming up.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
I know, but Charlotte is kind of preoccupied.
Uh-oh.
Because she's focused on a different artifact.
Okay.
It's this stunning ancient Egyptian broad collar.
Oh, wow.
And it was just newly acquired by the museum through this anonymous donation.
Interesting.
And it just triggers all these memories for her.
Oh, no.
About this tragic shipwreck that she survived decades earlier in Egypt.
Wow. Okay, so this shipwreck,
Yeah.
it's not just some random event.
No,
it really kicks off the whole mystery.
Exactly. So all these years later,
Yeah.
this broad collar shows up at the Met.
Oh, wow.
And Charlotte can't shake this feeling
What is
that it's the same one that was lost in the shipwreck.
Oh, no.
And get this.
What?
She starts to think that her husband, Henry, might have been involved in stealing it.
Oh, my God.
So this sends her on this quest.
To find the truth
Yes, to uncover what really happened.
about her husband.
Yes, and about that night on the Nile.
I see. So then we also have this other storyline
Right.
happening at the same time.
Yes, in the present day,
Okay.
we meet Annie. She's this young woman who works for Diana Vreeland.
Oh, wow. She's like a fashion icon.
Exactly. She heads the Met's Costume Institute.
That must be so cool.
I know.
What does Annie do there?
Well, she's really ambitious,
Okay.
resourceful,
Good qualities.
and all of that gets put to the test
How so?
when this valuable artifact called the Cerulean Queen
Okay.
gets stolen from the museum.
Oh, no.
And so her path ends up colliding with Charlotte's.
Oh, wow.
And together they start investigating.
What happens?
Well, they end up uncovering this shocking truth
Okay.
that Leon,
Always Leon.
he was this archaeologist from the Egyptian dig with Charlotte.
Right?
Everyone thought he died in the shipwreck,
Uh-huh.
but he's alive. And it gets even crazier because he might be connected to an international art theft ring.
Wow.
I know the stakes just got a lot higher.
For sure.
And Charlotte and Annie are going to have to face some dangerous people.
To get to the bottom of this.
Yes, people who want to keep their secrets hidden.
The book does a great job
It
of
does.
taking you to these different worlds.
It really does.
Like 1930s Egypt.
Right, with all the archaeological wonders. And then also 1970s New York.
Which had such a cool art scene back then.
I know, it was so vibrant and fast-paced.
And I think it's really interesting how Davis shows the role of women in both of these periods.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, in 1930s Egypt, Charlotte is facing so many limitations as a female archaeologist.
Yeah, she constantly has to prove herself
Exactly.
in this male-dominated field.
Right, and then fast forward to the 1970s,
Yeah.
Annie's dealing with a whole different set of challenges
Yeah.
in the New York art scene.
It's so competitive.
Yeah, and sometimes it seems pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, so it's really thought-provoking
It is.
to see how the roles of women have evolved over time.
Right, and as Charlotte and Annie keep investigating,
Yeah.
they start uncovering all these secrets,
Yes.
and they realize they're up against some dangerous people.
That's intense.
It is, and their search for the truth ends up taking them back to Egypt,
I was wondering when they'd go back.
and they make this amazing discovery.
What is it?
They find the tomb of a high-ranking female pharaoh.
Oh, wow.
Could this be the final resting place of Hathor Care?
The pharaoh that Charlotte's been fascinated with all these years?
Exactly. And if it is, what secrets will they uncover about her life and reign?
It's so exciting.
It is. But then back in New York,
Right.
things get even more complicated.
How so?
They catch the person who stole the Cerulean Queen.
Yeah.
And their identity sends shockwaves through both Charlotte and Annie's lives. Because it turns out this person is connected to both of them.
Oh, wow.
In a way that they never could have imagined.
This is getting good.
It is.
So all these layers of deceit and betrayal start to unravel as Charlotte confronts the truth about her past.
This must be a huge moment for her.
It is. It leads to this really emotional reunion that's going to leave you breathless.
So this revelation, it forces Charlotte to rethink everything she thought she knew.
What?
About her family.
Yeah.
About what led to the shipwreck.
It really makes you think about the nature of truth.
Yes.
And how much weight secrets can carry.
And the power of family ties.
Yeah, even when they've been broken.
Exactly.
And that's where we'll have to leave it for today.
Oh, no. I want to know what happens next.
I know, but don't worry. We'll dive further into the mysteries surrounding the stolen artifacts, the identity of the buried pharaoh.
Okay.
And all the shocking revelations that await Charlotte and Annie in part 2.
I can't wait.
It's going to be a wild ride.
I bet.
So make sure you tune back in.
I will.
To find out what happens.
This is good.
When we left off, Charlotte and Annie were about to make a huge discovery.
Yeah, that tomb.
That could be the final resting place of Hathercare.
You know, it's amazing how technology is changing archaeology.
Oh, yeah. In what way?
I mean, traditional methods like excavation and analyzing artifacts are still important.
Right.
But we have all these new tools now.
Like what?
Like CT scans.
Oh, wow.
Researchers can use them to look deep inside things.
Without damaging them.
Exactly. Especially important with delicate remains.
So they used that technology in the book.
They did.
To help figure out who the mummy is.
It's like something out of a detective novel.
Right. Like they're using modern science to solve an ancient mystery.
And it's so cool how it all unfolds.
Yeah. So tell me more about what happens.
So they find this really important clue.
What is it?
A molar.
Oh, okay.
But it's not where you'd expect.
Where is it?
It's inside one of the canopic jars.
Oh, wow. Those jars they used to store the organs.
Right. The ancient Egyptians were really into preserving everything.
So what does a tooth in a jar have to do with anything?
Well, one of the mummies they found is missing a molar.
Okay.
And get this.
What?
The empty socket.
Uh-huh.
It matches the tooth perfectly.
So are they saying?
Well, it's not definitive proof.
Right.
But it's pretty strong evidence.
That the mummy is Hathercare.
Yeah, you can imagine what a discovery like this means.
As the archaeological community.
Oh, yeah. It would be huge.
But for Charlotte, it's so much more than that.
What do you mean?
She's been obsessed with Hathercare for years.
Right, ever since that dig in Egypt.
So this is like a personal victory for her.
Yeah, like she always believed in Hathercare's importance.
Exactly. She never gave up on her.
Even when everyone else had moved on.
And now it's like she's being vindicated.
Exactly.
But while all of this is going on in Egypt,
the
investigation back in New York.
About the Cerulean Queen.
Right. It takes a crazy turn.
It does, doesn't it?
So they're focusing in on this docent at the Met.
Mona.
Yeah, she seems so perfect. But as the investigation goes on, they start to realize that Mona is not who she seems.
Oh, this is where it gets really good.
It does. Her motives are a lot more complicated than just wanting money.
Oh, that's interesting.
And her connection to the artifacts?
Yeah.
It goes way deeper than anyone imagined.
You're killing me. I need to know what happened.
I know, it's a real page turner.
So tell me.
So they finally reveal Mona's true identity.
Okay.
And it's a bombshell.
What is it?
She's not just some random thief.
I knew it.
She's connected to Charlotte's past.
You're kidding.
It's crazy, right?
Oh my gosh. Can't believe it.
It's a total game changer.
So what does this mean for Charlotte?
Well, she has to re-examine everything.
About the shipwrecks.
Her relationship with Henry.
Yeah.
And what happened after she came back to New York.
This is intense.
It is.
Yeah.
And so much of what Charlotte thought she knew.
Yeah.
It turns out to be wrong.
So the truth is finally coming out.
Yeah, little by little.
It's like a puzzle.
Exactly. And she's finally putting all the pieces together.
After all these years.
Yeah, but getting to the truth,
yeah,
it means confronting some painful memories.
I bet.
And having to face the fact that the people she trusted weren't who she thought they were.
Wow. This is heavy stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Well, I can't give away too much.
Okay.
But let's just say that Charlotte's search for answers leads to a confrontation that will challenge everything she thought she knew about her family, her history, and even herself.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a tough one for her.
It is. She's really going to have to dig deep.
To find the strength to face it all.
And that's where we'll leave things for now.
Oh, come on. You can't leave me hanging like that.
I know, but don't worry.
Okay.
In the final part of our deep dive,
we'll
explore all the fallout from these discoveries, the resolution of the mysteries, and the enduring power of the truth.
No matter how long it takes to come out. Exactly. So make sure to tune back in to find out what happens.
I will.
Last time we saw Charlotte, she had just found out that Mona, the woman who stole the cerulean queen, was actually her stepdaughter.
Yeah, it was quite the cliffhanger.
It was a real shock.
It was, and I think it shows just how complicated our lives can be.
For sure.
Like how our paths can cross in unexpected ways.
Totally. And Mona's motives for stealing the artifact,
yeah,
they weren't just about greed or money.
Right. It was deeper than that.
Yeah, it was about wanting to connect with a past that she never even knew she had.
So with Mona in custody, they find out where Lila is.
Charlotte's long-lost daughter.
Yeah, the one who was thought to have died in the shipwreck.
This must bring up so many emotions for Charlotte.
It does. It's like all this hope she had buried comes rushing back.
It's like getting a second chance.
Yeah, and the story really shifts here.
How?
It becomes less about art theft and history and more about this personal journey.
Of loss and reunion.
Exactly, and the power of a mother's love.
It makes you think about how strong family ties can be.
Even when people are separated for years.
And about how even the most painful experiences can be overcome.
When people are willing to understand each other.
So Charlotte goes back to Egypt.
But this time, it's not about digging up the past.
Right. She's looking for something else entirely.
She's searching for her daughter.
And she ends up in this remote village along the Nile.
Where a family says they rescued a baby girl from the river.
On the night of the shipwreck.
I can't even imagine what that moment must be like for Charlotte.
It's a mix of so many emotions.
Joy and relief.
But also sadness.
Yeah, sadness for all the lost time.
And the life they could have had together.
It really shows how a past can shape us.
Even when we don't realize it.
And Charlotte's daughter.
Yeah, she's named Fatima now.
She grew up thinking she was an orphan.
Loved and cared for.
But always knowing something was missing.
Yeah, like a part of her was lost.
So this reunion...
It's not just a mother finding her daughter.
It's about two people who are incomplete.
Finding what they've been searching for.
And even though they've lived such different lives...
Yeah, and so much time has passed.
They still find a way to connect.
Like they recognize something in each other.
A shared history.
That goes beyond language or culture.
But it's not easy.
Of course not.
There are years of unspoken words.
Experiences they haven't shared.
And it takes time to rebuild trust.
But ultimately, I think this book gives us hope.
Yeah.
That even the most profound losses can be healed.
With time and understanding.
And maybe even forgiveness.
So what do you think is the biggest takeaway from The Stolen Queen?
I think it's about the power of human connection.
Yeah. How even when things seem broken,
there's always a chance for them to be mended.
I like that. And it reminds us that history isn't just about dates and facts.
Right. It's about real people.
And their stories.
And the secrets they carry.
And The Stolen Queen really brings all of that to life.
It does. It's a captivating mystery, but it's also so much more than that.
Right. It's a story about family and loss and the search for truth.
And ultimately, about the resilience of the human spirit.
I think our listeners will really enjoy this one.
I do too.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a book that will transport you to another time and place.
Yeah, one that will keep you guessing until the very end.
Then definitely check out The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis.
We'll have a link to the book in the show notes.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
make sure to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating explorations of the stories and ideas that shape our world.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.